Hello and welcome to the Pickup WNBA podcast. I'm your host, CAthryn Niker.
And I'm your other host, Freddie Rivas. What's up?
And this is episode 111, baby.
111, baby.
Hope you're
Hey,
enjoying that polar vortex, East
polar
Coast.
vortex. It's freaking
Good.
cold.
Yeah.
Um, you want to know what else is cold?
What temperature is it here right now? Like right now. It's minus 11 right now.
It's actually warming up.
Yeah, it was minus 13 earlier.
But you want to know what else is cold? The way I'm about to deliver this important information at the Pickup WNBA podcast. Insta, YouTube, Twitter, soon to be Blue Sky. Subscribe, like, comment. We appreciate it. It's going to be a big year for women's basketball and us
Huge
and
year.
you. So thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Freddie, I have a quick story for you before we start, if that's okay. We're going to talk Unrivaled. We're going to talk WNBA free agency. But first, last week I was talking to you about New Year's and eating these 12 grapes,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yes.
So my friend and I ate 12 grapes like just before midnight in
Mm-hmm.
the hopes of a prosperous year, finding love in our lives and things of this nature. Well, she texted me yesterday and she was like, I've met someone. And I was like, no way. And then I
His
called.
name's Freddie. What the
No, but you know what? It's actually, yeah, anyway. It's and it all sounded really good and really promising, and it was nothing but green flags. Obviously a very new thing, but it was all green flags as she described it to me, and I was really excited for
Great.
her. But then I thought, wait a second. So recently I just got a dog, and I bring her home February 3rd, and
Yes.
I'm really excited about it. And I'm like, wait a second. Did I get a dog and you got like a whole man? That would suck. That would suck if I ate 12 grapes at midnight for a dog and she got a man. And then she was
It
like, no,
depends what
Catherine,
you're,
that's not what the grapes are about, and blah, 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 and this and that,
what are the grapes
But
about?
we were like, we want to find love, and I'm obviously going to love my puppy.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, this can't be it. I can't, you know what I mean? Like,
Or you'll take your puppy to a dog park and meet a handsome Prince Charming.
Hallmark movie.
Right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I hope that you both find love.
Thank you.
The love that you deserve.
Just wanted to let everyone know that the grapes are working so far.
Great.
You see the trends, on social media, and you don't get the updates. But here, podcast form,
You get the updates.
you get the updates.
Can I also just comment on the flags? Because I really like that we as a society have graduated from red flags to all sorts of color flags. People are talking about green flags, yellow flags. Really, we're just sort of broadening this this analogy, and I'm very into it.
Yeah, because the human characteristics are a tapestry of flags.
Yes. Wow. That's beautiful.
This is ridiculous.
Come here for the poetry.
Okay. Let's jump into WNBA free agency for a bit, and then we'll get into Unrivaled. So to start, Freddie, you always like to shout out people who write really awesome articles. So from The Athletic, this is Sabrina Merchant, and she's written this awesome breakdown of free agency predictions. Obviously, these are her predictions, although they're very thorough, in my personal opinion, and like what to possibly expect coming up. I don't know how you want to break this down, Freddie.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you want to just go with, like, if you have your own, like, off the cuff prediction, or if there's something here that really caught your eye, where do you want to start?
Yeah, well, I'm glad you shouted out her article because this could be an entire podcast. It's very thorough. She clearly has her finger on the pulse. Lots of good ideas. And also there's creativity, but it's that type of basketball analysis that's very grounded. So it's fun. I think for me, where I want to start, something that jumped out to me is, as a fan of basketball and someone who covers the WNBA with you, the rhythms of it are mostly settled in for me. And I feel like I'm getting less and less surprised. Not in a way where I'm even close to being bored or anything like that, but I'm getting surprised by the rhythms of when players move and how they move and how the contracts work. And I think one thing that really excited me is the idea of Emma Messamen returning. So this was a major.
You weren't kidding when you said come for the poetry, like the way you're going on about.
Was that good?
Yeah, the rhythms and stuff. I was like, an abstract painting is forming.
When the moon is full and the tides cometh. Emma Messamen. No.
Yeah, really. I mean, I agree. I'm excited to see Emma Messamen return to the W. She was a part of that Chicago Sky team that made it far to the finals, or that won. Am I correct about that?
That
I feel like that was when I learned about Emma Messamen a few years back.
Yeah, and she's a player that is incredible, belongs in the W. But I feel like I think the reason I was jumping around to kind of my poetic meanderings about rhythm is that I forget that there's so many players who play overseas because there's really quality basketball, and we're going to get to Unrivaled as well, which is part of the idea there is to combat some of this. But because she's now playing in the Turkish league. The writer of this article talks about how her return is like way more likely and she doesn't have to deal with prioritization, which we've talked about ad nauseum, not being good for the WNBA, sort of being a bit too like the punishment's too harsh, and it's making it so that players of this quality are not playing in the W, and that's not what you want.
Well, it was more like the W lacks leverage to have such prioritization rules. Like Emma Messamen probably makes more money in Europe.
Exactly.
So
yeah.
Although that's going to change in a year's time, but anyway.
But the idea that you could punish players and say, oh well, if you play overseas and your season goes long, you can't play in the W. Players are going to be like, okay, bro, like I'm good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, so she even went as far to say that Emma is going to sign in Phoenix, which then made me think about Phoenix having one more run. And I think a big thing, like a shoe that has not dropped, is will Taurasi retire? Mm-hmm. So this to me sort of was the first indication that it's like, okay, maybe there is like a run it back, like a last shot opportunity for Phoenix that Emma's going to be a part of. And then also Brittany Griner and Copper. And yeah, so I think Emma Messamen is like the main part of this idea, but it's alluding to a lot more. So that's, that was my main, there's a lot of interesting takes from this article,
agree. But I really like this fit. And I think, my sort of take on Phoenix was they had limited offensive weapons and they weren't playing enough defense. And I remember calling out the Phoenix Mercury for being like, you're a veteran team. Why aren't you playing defense? Right. But I think you're right in that it's going to be their last real run at it. Like truly, even if Taurasi's like, no, I'm going to go again. Like this is the last real run at a championship. Yeah. I don't know if this would put them over the edge of the Liberty, the Aces, the Lynx. Like I don't know if this one move does it for them, but what it does do is it gives them more offensive depth and that they need. Like, to me, like Kalia Copper and Natasha Cloud are going to be your top two offensive weapons. But if Emma Messamen, I don't know if you're going to fit her in your starting lineup or she's going to be your sixth person off the bench, but you're going to have that extra fire with her. And if they can make that work, that's going to be a huge asset for them. But it won't be all that they need.
I agree. This also made me think though, with free agents, what are players? You know, okay, let's say they get Emma Mieseman. What are other players around the league willing to take in this weird kind of limbo period we find ourselves in?
Well,
Could they?
everyone's signing a 1 year deal.
Yeah, right. But so could you? I don't know. Could you imagine some other player, say like Alyssa Thomas or something, signing a bit of a cheaper deal to play for Phoenix for 1 year, and then knowing that she's going to cash out you know what I'm saying? Like, I just wonder if there's
Well,
any.
I don't think it'll be Alyssa Thomas, but
I don't think so either. But I think I was just using her as an example of someone who's sort of like who could maybe just really want to win a championship and play with Tarasi and play with Phoenix while they're pretty confident that they're still going to get a big contract on the other side.
Yeah, that's very intriguing actually. I don't know who that would be. Actually in this article they talk about Kennedy Carter from the
Mm-hmm.
Sky
Another
going
player?
unrestricted free agency, and they predict she could join the Valkyries, but if she wanted to join the Sun for 1 year, that could be super interesting. And she is a very feisty defender, which I think they need. And I think her personality would suit
Me
this
too.
Phoenix Suns team, or Phoenix Suns, sorry, Phoenix Mercury team.
I think there's a real opportunity for a
I
couple.
would love that. And I
Me
would
too.
love if they were just like the heels of the league.
I think there's a lot
Come
of
on, between
opportunity.
Copper and oh my god. I'm
Like
sorry, I'm getting too excited. I'm getting ahead of
this
myself
year
here.
is going to be very unique in the sense where I go back to the holding pattern kind of like limbo we find ourselves in,
Mm-hmm.
and I think obviously players are going to get the most amount of money they can and plan for the future, et cetera, et cetera. But a lot of players are openly signing 1 year deals, and I think things are going to be a little bit funky. So you might have a team like Phoenix, maybe Connecticut, maybe who knows, the Aces, like whatever. Like I think there's some teams that could just really win free agency in a way that we haven't seen in years because it's just like absolute circumstance where you have a bunch of vets, perhaps hanging out at Unrivaled and saying, "Hey, should we all be like, should a bunch of us sign on the same team and then go our separate
Well,
ways after we win a ring?"
speaking of that, because I do think you're making a good point, and I think that is happening with Satou Sabally. So we talked about Satou Sabally a bit last week on the show, and in this article too, they mention that they think she's going to go to the Liberty in like a sign and trade situation because Sabally has specifically said she's not going back to the Wings,
Mm-hmm.
and the Wings have some rights. I don't know her whole contract situation, but the Athletic article is suggesting it could be like a trade for Sabali or like a sign and trade for someone like Benai Laney and Leona Fevic. That's a good signing for the Liberty, I think. That's a great deal if they could pull that
That's good
off.
for both teams.
Yeah, that's good for both teams, but
You know,
that's really good for the Liberty. I'm sorry. This is no disrespect to them, but that's really good for the Liberty. I mean, and then when you mentioned Unrivaled, her and Sabrina are on the same team right now, the Phantoms. Shout out the Phantoms. And, her sister's on the Liberty. Like, Satou was like a part of their championship team parade, like hanging out with her sister, even though she's not on the team. I think that's a done deal. Like that, I actually think is fully happening. I would be
So
surprised if it didn't at this point.
this is the other one. I mean, there's a lot of good takes in this article, and I think this is the other one that really struck me because I feel like this is a major. And please correct me if I'm wrong, Catherine, but since we've been podcasting, have we ever had a player that has sort of like demanded a trade in the way that we've seen
Yeah.
Satou do this? Like we've seen disgruntled players get traded, Liz Campage, we've seen it happen, right? But like this is a very public scenario where
Skylar
Dallas has lost
Diggins had a
leverage.
yeah, Skylar Diggins Smith had a very like tumultuous end with the
But she
Phoenix
left in free
Mercury.
agency though.
Yeah, but if she wasn't a free agent, I don't think she was gonna go back.
I agree, but I guess for
Because
me,
she had like mat leave and then was like, screw
yeah.
this, I'm not coming back.
But
But
I'm just
anyways,
thinking from Dallas's perspective, I can't remember having seen something like this where you have this really good player. She only has 1 year left on her contract, so it's not a situation where you really can sell. Let's say you're trading her to whomever. You can't really say, well, you have this incredible player for years. All you can say is you have this player who doesn't want to be with us anymore, and you have her for 1 year. So then you're going to have teams say, well, we're not giving you that much. So like Dallas has not a lot of leverage here, which to me is why I think if they got, in this scenario, if they got Phoebish, Lainey Hamilton, and a 2026 first round pick, to me that's pretty solid given the fact that they have a player that I don't think she would sit out, but she straight up made it known to the league she doesn't want to be a wing.
yeah, and I don't know what this means too for the Dallas Wings and their growth around, or attempting to grow around Enrique Gumbawale, something I've been calling out on this show for years. Like, what are they doing to build a championship team around this, one of the best players in the league? Right? Like I don't know where they go from here, but we'll have to wait, we'll have to see. But that's one thing I sorry, I absolutely think is gonna happen. We talked last week about how like Satou's gonna leave the Wings, but the way they broke this down with the Liberty, plus we've seen how close she is to the team already in these multiple circumstances. I 1000% think that's gonna happen. Um and I think that's gonna be like the big move,
Yeah,
unless
agreed.
we got to talk about Kelsey Plum.
This came out of nowhere for me. This take, this was
This take also came out of nowhere for me too. So what they're suggesting, and this is, to her credit, to I'm all sorry, to Sabrina Merchant's credit, like this is her article for her to have her own takes. So they don't necessarily need to be zeitgeisty, but what she's suggesting is that Kelsey Plum could leave the Aces and go to the Seattle Storm, and that Jewel Lloyd could essentially leave the Seattle Storm for the Aces, and that they would essentially switch places. I would be shocked as hell if Kelsey Plum left the Aces.
Me too.
Like that would
that
be
would be
so shocking.
that would be
More so than
gigantic.
Jewel Lloyd leaving. Although that would also be very shocking.
But
Because I think with Jewel
yeah.
Lloyd, it's like she's been with the Storm her entire career, but she's also been part of an era that's ended. And, it depends on how much they want to double down on what they currently have, which I do think they have something pretty good, obviously, in Seattle right now. But this would be the wildest thing ever if this actually happened. Like, I don't think this is going to happen, but if it did, it would be absolutely nuts.
It's too good of a situation. I think this is again. We're really talking a lot about this article because it's so good. But this to me is a bit more kind of. It feels a little less grounded, only in the sense that it sounds fun, but for Kelsey Plum, like I get that she's hitting unrestricted free agency, but The Aces,
Look, am I?
Chelsea Gray was injured. Like it just them losing was not the Aces are fine. That's my take. The Aces are fine, and they're not. This to me would signal sort of the beginning of the end for the Aces.
Well,
Like
and
I think
it would very much suggest that they are not fine, right?
exactly,
Like
yeah. So
you would be rethinking that
like their
because
culture's good, everything's good there. So I just this to me doesn't really ring.
and then Diarca Hambia pops into the chat, but
Hey,
but no, I think like with Kelsey Plum, like I can't fathom this Aces core without her, and
same.
I think a lot. I just assumed a lot of this going into free agency is just about the new CBA and all this new money coming into the league and everybody just setting themselves up for the best possible outcome going forward. And so I didn't think anything of it. Like it's like Stewie's a free agent. Nobody thinks she's going to leave the Liberty, right? She's going to sign a 1-year deal and then get
Exactly.
another deal done next year. So that's kind of what I thought this was. But I mean, you never know. The Aces have always had a little smoke around their organization. You know, a lot of that has been centered around treating players very well, except for one. And we'll see. We'll see. Like, is everything as put together there as we think? Right? I think it is. But it would be a huge bomb, I think, if she left.
Huge bomb. Let's see.
Anything else of note? For the record, people can sign Feb 1st officially, but I believe now negotiations can start. Is that correct? Is that how they structured
Yes.
it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see. Freddie, anything else you want to add to this?
No, not really. I just basically go read this article. It's a great article. It's a really good primer for the type of movement I think is likely in the league.
Yeah, shout out to Sabrina at The Athletic. Okay, let's get into Unrivaled, finally. That took 22 minutes. Mind you, 3 minutes were taken up talking about grapes, so that's on me.
Fair. You need some grape time, you know?
Yeah, we all need a little grape time. Unrivaled, I just want to say, has been awesome so far. I love the look of it. I love the feel of it. I love the fact that it's full court. You know, I thought like, you know, we talked a lot of the rule changes, but I think a lot of them really helped, especially with the pacing of the game. Like, I really enjoyed that it was fast paced. I felt really engaged watching it. I watched the Lunar Owls and the Roses. I've watched a few, so sorry, I'm getting confused here a little bit.
Yeah.
But is that the one you assigned me, Freddie?
Yes, that's the one I assigned you, and I watched. Sorry, what
Yeah,
was it?
Lunar Owls and the Roses is what I watched.
And I watched the Vinyl and the Mist.
Freddie, do you want to go first?
Yeah, I think I will say. Sorry, one second. I turned on the highlights and they got really loud on me.
That's okay. I mean, I can go if you're still trying to set something up.
No, I think what I'll say is that the full court nature of it really is just is the major boost to any type of 3-on-3 thing I've ever seen. It was everything I wanted. Like when I heard that it was going to be the mini full court, like they really got. This is just such a
Tight.
nerd comment here. They really got the measurements of the smaller court right.
Mm-hmm.
Because it does have that mixture of like half court fast break that is basketball. I think from a like how it looks perspective, still lots of 1-on-1 and not a lot of paint play. I don't know if that's the two teams I saw, but yeah, I think it was just really exciting. I also love. I know we were talking about it last week, and it's confusing. The math of it's confusing, but when you actually watch it, the no timed fourth quarter is sick. Playing
Mm-hmm.
to a winning score is very fun, and I'm glad
Mm-hmm.
that this league's trying it.
Yeah, I agree too. I really liked that. I will say this is going to be my like not so hot prediction, but I'm just coming at it really early. Nafisa Collier looks like the best player in the world right now. Like I think it's going to be her year to be MVP of the league. I'm just going to say it now. Like she just is so fast, so skilled at literally everything. You know, I don't see a single weakness in her game when I watch her. I think the Lynx are going to be right back where they were last year. They might even win it all. I know we still got the Aces. I know we still got the Liberty. And I know they are still powerhouses. But my God, Nafisa Collier is just killing it. And it's incredible to watch. Like I just feel like she is emerging as the best player in the world in my eyes. And I'm just going to say that right now. She's killing it.
I love it. I think that's a great take, and I think that she really looked okay. Okay, here's what I'll say. That you can't, as far as the best player in the world, it's just such an omission
Of men, get out of here.
of men. Yeah, yeah. No, no. This is actually a time where I'm gonna stump for men. No, of Asia. Like Asia's not in this league, so it's just like if she was, I think it would be like, oh yeah, right.
No,
Asia's the
no.
best.
Listen, Asia has been the best player in the world for several years. Okay. And I'm not saying she isn't the best player in the world anymore, but I'm saying Nafisa Collier's coming for it. And I think that's a fair statement.
I think so. I think for me, I'm
Like
just sort
Nafisa
of
Collier is going to have something to say about the MVP of the WNBA season this coming year. And I'm saying she's going to win it even if Asia Wilson has, I mean, Asia Wilson would have to have the best season of her career to date. And I'm just calling it. It's January. I don't know anything. Who knows what's going
folks.
to happen?
You heard it here first.
But
Catherine
I'm,
says that Asia's washed, and that Collier's hands down going to win the MVP, and it's going to be a cakewalk.
like,
Wow.
I'm just saying she's, er, she's coming for it.
Yeah, I mean, she was runner up last year, but yeah, I
Yeah.
think
And I think it's like she, she just, I don't know if it's because it's her league, but she just looks stronger and better than ever, which is saying something. And I just feel like she is ready to take over. That's my hot take. I think she is ready to take over. And I'm going to stand by that until I'm proven otherwise.
wow. Well, you
I
know
have
what?
another, and I've got another
That's
hot take looking at the Lunar Owls, who might be the best team in this Unrivaled
okay.
league, but time, you know, we still
Okay.
have, there's still time. Angel Reese. I have some observations about her game. So I think looking at this right now, and obviously things can change, her post up game is incredible. Like Angel Reese in the paint is like a force to be reckoned with.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing I noticed with her post up game is it does slow things down a bit, which is good and bad, depending on
It's
where you're
not
at in
very
the game.
modern.
It's not modern. That's a good way to put it. It's not modern. And she was hitting some outside shots, which is good for her, but it was like kind of flat. Like it doesn't have that like arc that you want to
It's like when you're
see.
playing 2K and you hold the controller down,
Well,
and the
shout out
person
to
has like,
for to anyone who relates to that.
well,
It's not
people will.
me.
The person has like a really slow wind up, and you're like, it just looks like uneven.
Mm. Okay, I'm gonna believe you because I don't play 2K. I play
Ah,
Zelda, Breath of the Wild, and Tears of the Kingdom. That's like literally what I play.
wow. Okay.
Um,
Shout out
but
Luke.
anyways, yeah, it her shot is missing an arc. And I wonder if she's going to hit a sophomore slump. I don't want her
Interesting.
to. I love Angel. I don't want her to. This is
Well,
not something I want to have happen. But it made me
Chicago Sky
wonder.
are going to be rough, so maybe.
Yeah, the Chicago Sky are going to be rough. And, it's, I don't know, like, they're going to be a good defensive team, but I just don't know who their offensive weapons are going to be. And, I'm curious to see, but these are my Angel Reese observations. She needs to get more arc on her shot. And her post up game is incredible, but it isn't the most modern and it does slow things down. And there are times in a game where you want to slow things down and get something in the paint. And she's going to be extraordinary at that. But if you're not trying to slow things down, like early in a game, then does it help you? Right? Because like one thing I noticed is like the other team is scoring like 3 points really fast. It's not just the 3 versus 2 argument, it's the time frame in which it takes to get that 3 versus the time it takes to get that 2.
Yeah.
Right? And that's the part of it that I think is going to be the difference for her. So I'm not saying she has to hit threes or anything like that, but if she can get that arc and then speed up her offense a bit, I think that's the key for her to become like elite.
Since we are polar vortex hot taking, I got one.
Yeah.
Ryan Howard is
Yep.
going to enter the chat.
Oh, I love this. I agree.
And she's not going to enter the MVP chat because I really think I don't really see a world.
Not yet. Not
I don't
yet.
see. Yeah, I don't. I think it's like Stewie Collier and
Asia.
and Asia, and I mean you have to have, for me anyways, you have to sort of hold some space for Caitlin.
Of course.
You have to be like, hold on. Like her post Olympics play was so insane that it's kind of like, wait a second, like that was her first fucking year. Like, what actually is possible with Caitlin Clark? But yeah, those 4 players aside, I think that a player like Ryan Howard wouldn't surprise me if she sort of storms her way onto like all W first team, and she has elements of like looking like the best shooter in the league.
I
And
think the
yeah,
Dream are going to be a better team. To
yeah,
your point.
she
Like
was injured so much of last year as well.
she was
Let's don't
injured
forget.
for a lot of last year. Last year was supposed to be their breakout season, but I haven't I haven't lost hope on the Dream. Wow, it's too
Bless me,
poetic, too real for
bless.
me. I should have left the poetry to you. But another player that really stood out to me was Alicia Gray. So she's, a guard for the Dream, and I had to like kind of Google her a bit as I was watching her because I just didn't watch a lot of Dream games last year. But I was like, this girl looks incredible. And I think the two of them together, if they're healthy and they get, enough depth around them, I believe they still have Tina Thompson on that team. They're going to be, the Dream are going to be good. The Dream are going to be good.
Also, Chelsea
They've
Gray,
eaten 12 grapes this year.
Chelsea Gray, made for this league.
Oh, yeah.
It's like all buzzer beaters, all flash, flowy, not that much defense. But like, I
Okay,
thought
I'm sorry. Chelsea Gray's a good defender.
she's a good defender. But I mean, like, if it's sort of like just like let's like kind of do like a half fast break, get
Mm.
buckets, fadeaways, hit threes, dime it out. It's like it's more of an offensive game. I think there is
Oh,
some,
it's definitely more of an
you
offensive
know,
game. I mean, it suits Sabrina as well. Like Sabrina Ionescu looks fantastic in this league. I
yeah.
think Brittany, like when I was watching Brittany Griner, like
Yeah, how'd
I
she look?
well, when I was watching the highlights, I didn't see her score. I'm not saying she didn't score, but I didn't see her score. But what she was doing very effectively was setting people up, right? So she was like screening and assisting. She was like a center point guard, like a center guard. And I thought that like they were using her very effectively. And I think too they could like that's something that Phoenix could do more of also, right? Like they could use her more like a center guard as well to set up Copper and to set up Natasha Cloud and even Taurasi to some extent if she'll allow it. If she'll let go of the ball long enough to let that happen. But yeah, I thought that dynamic worked. But yeah, she wasn't like an offensive powerhouse by any means. She was
Only
very
other
like, this is a Raptors reference for you. She was very Marc Gasol.
okay, hey, that's good. That's a good player.
Yeah, yeah.
The only other comment I will make, and I'm just like, okay, let's just let them play another game. But in a league like
Like a
this,
concerned mom when
I
you
know.
said that.
In a league like this, it's kind of like, they're throwing these teams together, and maybe there's just not, this team's sort of like not connecting or something. But the Phantom lost 86-48.
Yo, did they really?
86-48.
That's brutal.
Like that's like pretty nuts. So and their team, you look on paper, you're like, okay,
It's like death came for
yeah,
them.
Griner, Satou, Sabrina, Natasha Cloud, Samuelson. Mabry didn't play, but it's like a pretty good team. And then you look at the team that smashed them. It's
Oh
like
no.
not overwhelming. It's McBride, Hayes, Thomas, my girl Steph Dolson, and Kate Martin. Like
No, that's
not
ridiculous.
that like to beat for that team to beat them by 40 points is pretty.
It's upsetting.
It's pretty nasty.
That's upsetting.
You scored 48 points and lost by 38 points. Like, what happened?
Yeah, I did not watch that game.
That's all. Phantom. Death came for them.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Is it time for
It's
Freddie's
time.
fun question? Okay, let's go.
Freddie's fun question. So, shout out Dawn Staley.
Yes.
She got the biggest coaching contract in women's basketball history, $25 million a year.
Congratulations, well deserved.
Sorry, I think a year. I'll double check.
Yeah, I think you're right. More
Yeah.
more Louis Vuitton for Dawn Staley.
More Louis. Yeah, that's the main thing. It's more Louis Vuitton for sure. But yeah, so my question to both of us is, what could get you, Catherine, me, Freddie, paid this kind of money? Like, what could we do? Like, that's like money when you are the very best, the very top of your field.
Mm-hmm.
What field, Catherine, are you the number one in, and you just like, it's time for you to get paid?
I'm so confused by this question because we are in a field.
We are.
And we do have careers and we do have specialties. No, we don't get paid 25 mil.
We sure don't.
But I want to know what you mean by outside of what we already do. What
I'm
we would do to
looking
get
for
25
creativity
million.
here, because
I know you are, but I don't know how.
we very clearly are gonna have to pull out something, in my opinion, very rare, that someone, it's like you're selling, like Engelbert, we know you're listening, and we're selling ourselves here. We're about to sell you a skill that you didn't know you needed, and you're about to pony up for.
So what's your thing?
Well, I got a couple, but
No, I want to hear them all.
You want to hear them all? Well, the main one that I've never seen anyone do it better,
Or do it at all.
or do it at all. And I need to cash in on this.
I'm bracing myself.
So I can make the best pig noise.
Why would that be worth $25 million?
See, you tell me. Because
No, you tell me.
see,
That's the question. You made up the question.
here's why. Because honestly, we need real pig noise. If Babe Pig in the City comes out again, they need legit, like I'm thinking like Andy Serkis, Lord of the Rings, King Kong here. Like, he can do it better than anyone else can. I can make a better pig noise. I challenge.
Well, are you going to do it for us?
No problem. I can do it anytime. You
Go
ready?
ahead.
Okay.
We're as ready as we're gonna be.
Okay, well, let me just say this to the listeners. If you know someone who can do a better pig noise than me, get at me. And if you don't, I'm starting to GoFundMe for $25 million a year. Ready? What do you think?
That was so underwhelming.
It wasn't. It's detailed. It's a detailed pig noise. I don't know if it's not coming across in the mic. People do the snort, right? They're like, that's not what a pig sounds like. Go check out a pig, and it's more of a squeal. Okay, and it's a combo. Like
First
that's
of
how
all,
you. That's how
I
you
just
do it.
want to say congratulations to Dawn Staley for getting the highest contract in women's college basketball coaching history.
Shut up.
This was such a long journey for Freddie to come up with an excuse to do an impression of a pig on this podcast. Like, I feel like since we started this podcast so many years ago,
I've been
you were
waiting.
like, I'm going to find a way.
Yeah, 100%.
And
People need to
this
know my
was your
skill.
thing. This is insane. What are your other ones?
Well, I can wiggle my ears.
For $25 million.
I'm pretty sure I can wiggle my ears better than anybody else.
Well, you got to do it. You got to demonstrate.
Okay,
Come on,
this
Freddie.
one I-
Hurry
this
up.
one I- this
Hurry
one I
up.
gotta-
You got to walk that walk.
Okay, I gotta go close to the camera. I gotta take my headphones off. Okay, ready?
Yeah, we're ready. This is not impressive.
What do you
This
think?
is not impressive. This is like the slightest movement of ears.
No, those things are moving.
I know they're moving,
Those things
but
are bouncing.
it's not impressive. No, this is ridiculous.
Okay, what do you got? What's your $25 million? What do you
Well-
do better than anybody else?
I think,
Not a pig noise, because that's me.
God forbid someone take that from you.
Well, if they could, then I wouldn't deserve it.
No, I was thinking more along the lines of like art and like custom furniture that have like a little bit of leopard print in them. And I know everyone does leopard print and everyone likes leopard print, but no one's going to do it like me because I also am a Libra and I believe in balance. Okay.
But going
And
to do it, or like, do you have any product?
I do have furniture that I've reupholstered that I could sell. I have
you?
not done leopard print yet. Yeah, I do.
You've sold
Did you
it.
not know this about me? I reupholster furniture.
And you sell it?
No, I've kept it all for myself, but I could
Well,
sell it.
Let me know though when you sell it, because.
But this is something if I were in the right circles and knew the right people, I could make millions doing it because it would be custom.
Right, like if they're casting for Babe 3, and I got in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or I would do a photo shoot with a tiny adorable pig on like a chaise lounge. Okay? And I would style it in a way only I could do. And it would be like a bed for a wealthy neurotic person who has a pig pet.
And then what would actually make the final sell is someone would say like, okay, but I need to know what this is going to sound like. I pop in.
Mm-hmm.
Make the sound.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Freddie. That's what would work.
Thank you. I think
Listen, my idea, at least in some world, could fetch money.
Yeah, I'll give you this one.
I really thought you were going to have an actual idea. Like a creative one, but an idea, not just a sound of a pig. You're a little... Okay, so Freddie is a clown and a puppeteer.
Mhm.
And you have your little lamb chop thing. Like, I remember like a decade ago, you did like your lamb chop thing to like Call Your Girlfriend by Robin. And it's a lamb chop dancing to that. That's worth more money.
Oh yeah.
than whatever this was.
But am I the best puppeteer in the world?
You're the best lamb chop dancing to Robin.
Okay. You know what? Maybe I'll have a look at my skill set again.
Oh my god. Okay. Well, you know what? I feel like, next week we'll have a different question, this, that, and the other, but like you gotta come back with something better, Freddie. I'm sorry.
Okay, yeah, I'll come back with a better skill and a better question.
No, not a better question. The question was fine, but you got to come back with a better $25 million idea that you think you could pull off, hypothetically.
Okay.
Creatively and hypothetically, because you wanted to be creative. It's not like, oh, I win the lottery or something. You know what I mean?
For
like,
sure, for sure.
It's to be creative. So
mine's probably going to be reupholstering something. So yeah, I'll think about it.
I invite you to join the reupholstering community.
Okay, but it's going to be a lot of competition.
Your voice cracked in a way I've never heard in my life.
The best voice.
And I have podcasted with you for a long time.
Do you want fries with that?
You should have done the pig noise after that.
Onion rings or fries? Okay, you're at a drive-through. You order wings. You started hearing me on the other end.
Wings at the drive-through?
Yeah, that's probably not a thing, eh?
Doesn't matter.
This is me spiraling out of control.
You order wings at the drive-through and go on.
Then you just hear me making pig noises on the other end.
Is this how it start? Is this how it started? Did you work in fast food as a child and you thought, let me make these crazy noises and thing? Let them think we've got live pigs back here that we're butchering on the spot.
I did work at McDonald's, but yeah, no pork products.
You did work at McDonald's.
I did. Yeah.
How was that?
Oh, it's terrible.
Wow.
Terrible place to work. If you get McDonald's, remember that it's very hard work and to be nice to them.
Oh yeah.
Because people are mean to McDonald's people. It's not nice.
It is not nice. On that note.
Great times, great pods.
My piglet co-host, Freddie Piglet. Rivas.
Piglet Rivas.
The pimple is completely gone.
That is the greatest trick I've ever pulled. Was it real? We'll never know.
Yes, we know it was real.
It was very real. It's huge.
It was massive. R.I.P.
R.I.P.
What P.I.M.P.
P.I.M.P.
He'll never tip his hat to me again.
We knew you so well.
All right, this is getting ridiculous. We're getting loopy and tired here.
Yep.
Thank you everyone for listening and tuning in. We really appreciate it. Freddie, you said you're not around next week.
I'm not around next week, so
I'm gonna try and find a fill-in to keep the show rolling here, and then you'll be back the following week, and then I'll have my puppy on this podcast. Big time. Okay. Thank you everyone. Appreciate it. Remember to like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Leave a positive review. We always appreciate that. Appreciate you for giving us a listen here and a YouTube watch, all that stuff. We need to hire a social media coordinator, so we're working on that. But yes, thank you again and catch you next time.
Thanks everybody.
Bye.
Peace. See ya.